With inflation soaring over the last few years and the cost of everyday items being more expensive than before, this really hurt the pockets of many people. And while things are starting to slowly cool off, you still have 61% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, with even 45% of six-figure earners in the same situation. It's important to work on building your wealth and to be sure your everyday habits aren't holding you back financially. For this reason, I put together this list of bad money habits that keep people from progressing and tips on how to break these habits. So the first is being comfortable with bad debt. I think using credit cards to extend the amount that you can spend on things, as well as carrying credit card debt, has really been normalized these days. When in reality, you should be treating your credit card like a debit card and only spending what you have in cash or saved in the bank. Increasing your debt and stretching out your payments by only making the minimum payments on what you owe is a disaster waiting to happen. By doing this, your debt will continue to grow because of the interest, and you risk falling into a debt spiral. This is where you fall further and further into debt, and you're unable to make payments to pay down the ever-growing balance. And the credit card companies want people to not have an understanding of how credit cards work, as well as those who don't have a grasp of their finances, since this is where they make their money. They also know that they can charge high interest rates that average between 20 to 25%, as when it comes to any type of rewards or benefits that you receive from your card, those benefits are really just getting canceled out if you can't keep your card paid off regularly. Excessively using your card for points or cashback rewards will also do the same, since it causes you to overspend and accumulate unnecessary debt. Spending only what you can afford to pay off can keep you from digging yourself into a hole, as well as to get the most out of your card rewards and benefits. Number 2 is not paying yourself first. This principle comes from a classic personal finance book called The Richest Man in Babylon. What this means is that you first put aside some of your income for yourself before you pay for any expenses. So as soon as you get paid, it's likely that you're paying for your rent, utility bills, memberships or subscriptions that you have, your phone bill, eating out, or any other nice things that you may buy for yourself. And then whatever money that you have left over, if you have any at all, is what you'd plan to save. This is the opposite of what people who are financially ahead are doing. And what you want to do is pay yourself first by setting aside 10% minimum towards saving and investing right when you get paid. By doing this, you're treating saving just like your rent or other important bills, and you're ensuring that your money will always be saved and not spent. While there are many people who are just barely getting by week to week, and you'll be surprised that once that 10% is taken away and saved, that you'll manage to figure out a way to balance your finances for the rest of the month. A majority of people don't realize how much they spend on their bills, dining out, or entertainment, or whatever unnecessary material things, and then try to save the tiny bit of money that's left over. This is the mentality that you want to move away from, so really commit to putting away 10% or more of what you can afford towards investing and saving, rather than making other people richer by buying their stuff before you put money in your own pocket. The third is lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep. This happens when your spending increases along with your income increasing. And as we progress in life, there's the expectation that your financial status will improve over time as you get more experience. And from that could be from raises or career changes. But the big difference between the ones who struggle and those that succeed in building wealth is how they manage their finances. Because getting that raise or higher paying job won't improve your finances if you raise your spending to your new income level. It may be tempting to start dining out more often, or maybe get a newer car or upgrade your living room or day-to-day spending. But there is a trade-off to this, and once you start spending more, these small luxury upgrades become a need for you. And the next thing you know is you have to make even more money to maintain your more expensive lifestyle that you quickly get used to. You can see how this could have you trapped in a never-ending spending cycle that holds you back from being able to build your wealth. While lifestyle inflation can be a normal part of moving up the ladder at work and making more money, it should only be acceptable if you're spending within your means. While there's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself now and then, just remember, When your income increases, what you save and invest should be increasing as well. Number 4 is not tracking your expenses. I see that one big difference between people who have money and those who don't is the ability to follow a budget. A survey from One Poll and Ladder showed that the average American spends almost $18,000 a year on non-essential items like eating out, clothing, impulse buying, and other unnecessary spending. In reality, this shouldn't be the case if you aren't in the financial position that you're working to reach, and it's setting yourself up for trouble. You want to have full control over your finances, and by budgeting and monitoring the money that's coming in and going out, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on, or if something's wrong, you can look further into it. This is something many people overlook or ignore, while at the same time, they have no clue how much money they're spending and where it's going. If this is something you aren't already doing and you're struggling financially, you should really do yourself the favor and consider doing this immediately. I'd probably bet you'd be surprised where your money is really going after tracking it for the first time. And this isn't to say that you have to restrict yourself from everything. By staying consistent with your budget, you can still reward yourself and treat yourself within reason. But ultimately, budgeting is a planning tool to help you understand your financial situation and help keep you in check, as well as to make sure that you're in progress with your financial goals. 5th is not having an understanding of taxes. Taxes are easily one of the biggest chunks of where your money goes during your working life. To give you an idea of how much, the average American spends a little over 30% of their lifetime income on taxes. This goes to show how important it truly is to at least have an understanding of how the tax system works, to best use the resources that you have available so you can save the most amount of money. For something that's such a large part of our life, you would think that they would teach these things in school. But sadly, people typically accept taxes to just be an unavoidable part of life. While this is partly true, many people just pay without realizing there are ways to decrease the taxes that you pay and make the experience a little bit less painful. While you may believe the only loopholes are reserved for the rich who have businesses and assets, but there are opportunities for the average person as well. For example, if you're working a full-time job, you should check to see if your employer offers a 401k plan, which is not only good for the purpose of investing, but this could reduce your taxable income by the amount that's invested. An HSA or health savings account is also another way to lower your taxable income. Along with if you have a mortgage, you may be able to deduct the mortgage interest that you paid, and the same goes for student loan interest. These are just a few types of the many options and strategies that may be available to you to help you keep more of that hard-earned money in your pocket. And it really boils down to how much of the tax system that you understand or working with a tax professional. Next is waiting too long to invest. This is one thing that many people don't start soon enough. And in reality, a retirement account should be one of the first places that your money goes after paying your necessary bills. When looking to start investing, there are a variety of ways, but these 3 just about anyone can do. With the first being a Roth IRA, which would allow you to contribute $6,500 a year, and all that profit that you make in that account is tax-free at the age of 59 and a half. Next would be a 401k, which would let you contribute $22,500 a year. And this is money invested pre-tax, meaning it goes into your account before it gets taxed and it grows tax-free. And you'll be taxed later at the age of 59 and a half, only if you decide to start making withdrawals from that account. The last is a brokerage account, which is a taxable account. It doesn't have the restrictions or tax benefits that retirement accounts have, and you will be taxed on any income that's made from selling any assets in that account, as well as any income that's paid from dividends. One thing people don't realize is the longer you put off investing, the harder it will be to grow and compound your wealth than if you had started earlier. For example, imagine you have someone that's 25 years old and someone that's 35 years old, and they both invested $6,000 a year into their retirement accounts, while getting an average annual return of 7% after accounting for inflation. By the retirement age of 65, the 25-year-old would have roughly $1.2 million, and the 35-year-old would have around $566,000. You can see that just from starting 10 years earlier in this case, there's a difference of balance of over $600,000. This highlights the power of compounding over time and how important it is to get started with investing as soon as you can. Next on the list is forgotten subscriptions. This is something that's probably costing you more money than you'd expect. And more often than not, we tend to forget about canceling subscriptions that we're no longer using or have forgotten about. A survey by CR Research found that over 40% of consumers are paying for a subscription that they no longer use and forgot about. And a majority of the time is due to a free trial subscription that you sign up for and forget to cancel before the reoccurring payment starts. I've had this happen to me before in the past with having an additional Amazon Prime and Xbox account. And that's because I hadn't used them for a while and I didn't realize my college email still had active subscriptions when I had created new accounts with the new email. This is why it's important to monitor and manage your accounts and spending so you can catch unnecessary expenses like this. And if it's something that you're rarely ever using, you're probably just better off canceling it. The 8th habit is keeping up with friends. One habit that's difficult to manage is trying to keep up with your friends financially who have a more expensive lifestyle than you. Now, we all have our own life and financial journey, and some will progress faster on that path than others. You may have friends that always want to go out to nice restaurants and do more expensive activities, and that may put pressure on you to want to keep up with them. This could be for reasons of FOMO or fear of missing out on doing those activities, or a bit of embarrassment to let people know of your lifestyle. I think it's important to be honest and let your friends know of what you're working towards. And if they're a true friend, they'll understand that you're saving money, have a budget, and working towards your goals. It's easy to think that you might be behind with all that you see online or on social media, but the reality is 57% of Americans don't have the money to afford a $1,000 emergency expense. It's essential that you focus on yourself and stop caring where other people are in life or what they may think of you. Because when it comes to your finances, you need to look out for yourself since other people aren't going to be doing that for you. With that being said, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.